Hey, Tori, what's going on?
So happy to have you here.
Same. I'm excited.
I'm very excited. We were just having an amazing conversation that I wish we were like mic'd up for, because you were saying the best stuff that I just know the listeners are going to love. So everyone kind of has a little bit of knowledge about you, but I want you to really go in depth here. Give us your elevator pitch. Who are you? What are you about? And how did you get here?
Sure. So, well, my name's Sean Calhoun. I am a fitness studio owner of RT Athletics, and I recently became an FDN practitioner, so a certified functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner. A lot of words. We don't need to know the acronym, but what I do is I help peri and postmenopausal women, just women in general, help them burn fat, boost their metabolism, boost their energy, and balance their hormones naturally so that they can get back to living their life and just feel their best self, right?
Yeah. And when we were chatting a little bit before the episode began, I kept thinking about my mom, because my mom is going through this right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I know my mom is okay with me talking about this because we talk about it on
Hi,
this
Mom.
podcast too. Hey, Mom. But it's been something that she's been really struggling with. And you were kind of mentioning earlier about feeling safe within your body and like how that is step one, it sounded like. So can you maybe talk a little bit about stressors in the world, stressors in the body, how to identify those stressors, and kind of how to feel safe and secure within your own body?
Absolutely. Let's break it all down. So I am a very visual learner. So throughout our conversation, I'll probably break down some like if you close your eyes, you could see it kind of deal, like analogies. But there are hidden stressors that are in our body. And hidden is an acronym, right? Hormones, immune system, detoxification, your energy production, your nervous system. So these are coming from all different avenues, and they're having an impact on our body. So the first analogy that I like to use is your vital reserve bank account. So think about your body like a piggy bank, right? It's full of vital reserve, which means you have a lot of energy, you feel good, there's bugs and germs around, but you don't get sick, right? You're just a vibrant person. But then there's stressors from all of these different, places in Earth. So there's hormonal stressors, there's stressors from your gut, the food we eat, the people we're around, the air we breathe, and they cause your vital reserve to deplete. So we're taking money out of the vital reserve bank account, which means your body is not as resilient to the stressors of life. So now when someone cuts you off, you're a little bit more irritable. When COVID comes around, you're getting sick, right? You notice those people who just no matter what happens, they're just always in good health, good energy. They have a good vital reserve. And then folks who maybe smoke cigarettes for a long time, eat processed foods, are essentially just stressing themselves out in many different ways and depleting their vital reserve. So now they can't go about their life in a happy way, right? They start to tack on weight. Their skin gets real not, fresh anymore,
Vibrant,
right? Like they don't seem vibrant. Yeah, things like that start to happen. And over years and years, what happens, if this goes uncovered, which a lot of times it does, then we get symptoms and disease, right? So the things that are occurring in people might have started 10, 15, 20 years ago, but they were just like not seen because they weren't like an acute stressor, so to speak. They were chronic.
I saw this thing on Instagram the other day, but it was so true. And Dr. Mark Hyman, do you follow him?
I do.
I think he posted it, but it was like that disease that you developed at 60 started at 30.
Oh yeah.
You believe that?
100%.
I do too.
100%. Yeah, I mean, think about it, right? Like your vital reserve is high. You're resilient. You can be 16 and smoke and drink and nothing happens.
Right.
But all of a sudden, people are like, I'm 40 now, my hangovers hit differently.
Yeah.
Well, it's not by accident, right?
So how can we kind of up our vital reserve or preserve it?
So the way I look at it is first, we would like to remove or minimize the stressors in our environment, in our world, because you can't fill a bathtub if the plug's not in, right? So it keeps draining, but you're trying to fill it back up, so you can't, right? So we need to patch the holes, so to speak, get rid of the stressors, minimize them, and then there's a lot of like practices and habits, things like exercise and going for walks and eating whole foods, like the basic stuff that a lot of people know. That's the way you build it, but you first need to remove the stressors out of your life.
Yeah. Okay, so walk me through maybe like a day of doing healthy activities that someone listening to this episode could kind of just take away today of like, okay, I know that I need to be more dialed in on, obviously what we were also saying before was everyone's health is very individual, right?
Yeah.
And maybe you could kind of dive deeper into that as well. But you did just bring up like walks, healthy eating. Like what are some of those things that someone listening to could take away and start adapting right now into their life?
Yeah. So a big thing is paying attention to the sun, right? And matching your day and your life with what's called your circadian rhythm. So as humans, we're diurnal creatures, which is the opposite of nocturnal, right? Like bats are nocturnal. They are awake during the night. We're opposite, which means we rise with the sun and we go to sleep with the sun. So if you can start to match your day and your schedule with the sun, the better you're going to feel. So, for example, right, like most people have to get up with an alarm, but in a perfect world, you would get up with the sun, right? Like you wake up naturally because the sun is starting to come up. And what else happens is your cortisol rhythm matches the sun.
Buzzword.
Okay, buzzword, for sure. So hear me out. The sun rises, let's say 7 a.m., and starts to get darker around 7 p.m. The same thing happens with your cortisol, whereas your cortisol spikes at its highest point at about 30 minutes after you wake up. It's actually what wakes you up. So your cortisol starts to raise, and then that wakes your body up. So you come out of your slumber, you wake up, and then it slowly decreases throughout the day. So back to your question on habits, I'd wake up and immediately go get some sunshine, whether that's by this big window that we have here or going out for a walk or whatever you can do to get outside and be involved with the sun. It kind of tells your body, it's time to be up, it's time to have energy, it's time to be active. So that's how I would start the day. Sunshine, some deep breathing, and hydrating, right? Getting some water to your cells because your body dehydrates when you go to sleep. So therefore, when we wake up, we want to mineralize the body. We need to get some water in there. And that's the best way to wake up.
How much water do you drink a day?
Me, I'm somewhere between 100 and 120. Like, I don't really hit a gallon every day, but probably around 100 ounces a day.
Do you like the taste of water?
People talk about this all the time. I don't mind it.
Really?
It just is what it is.
So, like, you have water right there. Like, would you just happily chug a lot of
Absolutely.
it right now?
It's more about...
Are you thirsty?
Right now, because I had a coffee, yeah. I'm parched. The water is more about the temperature than it is the taste.
Really?
For me.
Oh, okay.
No. Oh, my God. No.
I thought there was like an optimized
You want to talk about a buzzword. We're going to start something on TikTok. No, for me, like, I don't get tired of water. It's just if it's chilled, if it's cold, I'm drinking it.
Really?
Doesn't bother me.
I love ice water too. Like the more ice, the better.
Right.
No, my problem is I just don't drink enough water whatsoever. Like
Oh, yeah?
I'm like a camel. I'll have maybe 3 sips a day.
Oh, my God.
No, it's really bad, Sean.
Why?
I don't love it. Like, it's right there and I'm just like, oh, but I'm fine. Like, I don't feel thirsty, but like, I know I am.
So what do you drink?
Nothing.
You're not a
beverage
girl?
No. So, like, what's that doing to me? The fact that I'm not drinking water? Like, maybe scare me into drinking water.
Okay. Well, so number one, how many times have we heard 70% of our body is water? So if you're thinking about your brain, your lungs, all of your organs are primarily water. So in order for them to function properly and do what their job is, you need water. But more importantly is minerals. So we don't produce minerals. We need to either eat them or consume them through water. So minerals are the spark plug of life. So
they're in water?
No. You have to put them in water.
Oh.
So like Celtic sea salt,
I have
Himalayan sea salt. Well, think about it. Back in the day,
Yeah.
our water came from a stream and hit rocks and different things, and there's minerals in there, right? We drank that. Now, it goes through fluoride, it goes through processing plants, and we have to remove all of the toxins out of it, but we're left with not good water, essentially. So if you're drinking tap water, you're drinking fluoride and pharmaceutical drugs, right?
Yeah.
And you need to remineralize your body so that your adrenal glands, do you know the adrenal glands?
Yeah, but we can get into that
Cool.
too.
So your adrenal glands are, they're small glands that secrete hormones throughout your body, and they need minerals to properly activate and work. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah. So if you don't have enough minerals in your body, your adrenal glands are fatigued. We've maybe heard of adrenal fatigue.
Wow.
So now we're not appropriately releasing cortisol and the different hormones that come from the signal of the adrenal glands. So it all starts with fueling your body with minerals and electrolytes. That's why we do it.
Oh, wow. So
Yeah.
in internet terms, my lack of water could be leading to a crash out.
100%.
Do you have any minerals in your water right now?
I do. It's called Baja Gold Sea Salt.
Okay.
I get it on Amazon. It's like $20. But yeah, pinch.
Okay.
That's it.
Just a little. Does
Yeah.
it taste salty?
To me, no.
Like, I'm just trying to figure out how much to put in. Like, should I taste a little salt or no?
You don't have to. Like
Okay.
in that right there, a literal pinch, you don't taste it at all.
Got it.
And
Got
I
it.
start my day with a glass of water, pinch of sea salt, and a little apple cider vinegar, and that's what I do every morning.
Why the apple cider vinegar?
So it's fermented, so it helps with your gut motility,
Mm-hmm.
and it just helps. It feels good, right? Like I feel like, have you ever taken like Tums or anything?
Yeah.
So it feels like a natural Tums.
Yeah. Okay.
So it soothes my stomach, sets me up for a good day of digestion,
Yeah.
and it just, I don't know, the sour taste, I've kind of gotten addicted
You like
to.
it?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
You put electrolytes in your water?
If we buy them,
Okay.
you know, like there's
But
elements.
you're not going out of your way to buy them
No, you don't
Got
need
it.
to.
because
sure.
of the minerals, like with the salt.
Yeah, the sea salt
Okay.
is game changer. That's all you need.
I guess that is what element is, isn't it? Salt.
It is. It is potassium, magnesium, and sodium at a high level that we typically wouldn't get from our food.
Yeah.
So Element flavored it, made it taste delicious, and
It is
said
delicious.
it's beneficial for your body. So yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
that helps too.
You also talked about breathing.
Mm-hmm.
Can you go into that a little bit more? Because I think it's something that, you know, a lot of us say, including myself, like, oh, meditate, breathe. But then we don't always explain, like, what does that actually look like and why is that beneficial?
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, think about it. We have to breathe until we no longer are going to be on this planet, right? So it's probably important, but we don't practice it, right?
Mhm.
So the two types of breathing that I focus on for myself and like clients, one is to take yourself out of fight or flight and into the parasympathetic nervous system. So calm, rest, and digest. And
Okay.
that would be something like box breathing is a tool that you can use, whereas you inhale for 4 seconds, you hold your breath for 4 seconds, you exhale for 4 seconds. Or another good one that guarantees you slow your heart rate is inhale for whatever, 3, 4, 5 seconds, and your exhale should be longer than your inhale. So when you do that, your body is calming itself down, and it's crazy. Like if you sat here and just
Mhm.
closed your eyes and did that for 2 minutes, you would feel like a new person. And not only that,
Really?
you don't realize what's stressed. Like your face will calm down and you're like, was I
Oh, wow.
like tense? Like, why was I sitting like that? So you calm down. And then what I do in the morning is more of a, have you ever heard of Wim Hof before?
I have, yeah.
So I do his breathing technique in the morning because I have a deviated septum. So when I sleep, I swear I'm not getting enough oxygen to my body
Mhm.
and you just feel depleted.
Mhm.
So his is more of like an intense form of like belly to chest to out breathing. Like you can look him up. It's awesome stuff. But
Yeah.
that kind of activates my cells, oxygenates my body, and like wakes me up for the day.
Do you have an Oura ring?
I don't.
You
No.
should get one.
I
There's
know.
a stat on it where it talks about your oxygen saturation when you sleep.
Yeah, I'm very interested in
Curious
that
what
stuff.
yours would be.
I know. I'm scared to
Does
find
she
out.
have one?
She does.
Does
I'm
she
gonna
like
steal
it?
it from her.
Well, you
She-
can't. It's
she-
going to be personalized to her data.
I know. No, she does, and she loves it, and you know it helps track her sleep and like her recovery, and like it's very beneficial. I want to get a sleep study done.
Really?
I want to get the whole gambit. Like,
you
put
think
me.
if you had wires on you, you could sleep well?
If you let me sit here for 2 minutes, I could probably fall asleep.
No way.
Oh yeah,
Wait, how
this
do
couch
you?
is comfy.
This couch is incredibly comfy.
Yeah.
Have you always been like that?
Yes.
Okay.
I was the kid at the sleepovers where like everyone was playing video games and Sean fell asleep on the couch. If my head goes in between that crack right there,
It's over.
it's over. Game over. I have
That
never,
is so funny.
I don't think I've ever finished a movie with G. Maybe 1 or 2.
G is his fiance.
Yes. Yes.
Who I'm friends with and also works at Stride, which is why we keep referencing her.
Right.
I fear I am you in that scenario.
Okay.
I am the same way. I don't finish movies. I always fall asleep.
Yeah. Yeah. I just, who who knows? That's like my biggest health concern is getting my like nose and like my sleep under control.
Yeah.
You know?
So you should definitely do a sleep study then.
Yeah, for sure.
What would you like want to find out?
Well, I would want to find out how much oxygen I'm actually getting to my body. I actually got tested for my VO2 max, and it wasn't like as ideal as I would like because I'm an athlete.
You're
like,
a fit guy.
Yeah, and I was like, wow, that was surprising. So maybe we were talking about this before. You said it about the minerals in the water. Maybe it would scare me to take further action if I knew how like little oxygen I was getting.
There's also a stat on Oura Ring that you would love. It tells you your cardio age. Like how many years younger or older you are than like your biological age.
Yep.
I biologically am 27, but according to my Oura Ring, I am 18.
No way.
Cardiovascularly.
Damn.
9 years younger. Isn't that crazy?
Okay, that's really good.
Crazy.
That's really good.
I know, not to brag or anything, but but you should get it. The stats are really, really cool.
Yeah, I'll look into that for sure.
For sure. Okay, but anyway, back to this. So, breathing. People should be doing these kind of techniques every day.
Yeah.
When? Morning, night, doesn't matter.
I would say it depends on your schedule and your life and what you need most. If you're someone like me who wakes up and you feel sluggish or not your best, do it in the morning to wake up. But a lot of the women that I talk to can really benefit to use this as a tool like midday and at nighttime. So if you're in a highly stimulated job and you can take 2 minutes to yourself and do some breathing, it will change your whole day. Like you don't need a full hour break to go talk to a therapist necessarily. You could take 2 minutes, do some breathing. And then at nighttime, it's really important to have like your wind down routine, like on par to optimize your sleep, because sleep is super important. There's a lot of amazing things that our body just does naturally when we sleep, but we also must prepare it for sleep. So breathing at nighttime, doing that box breathing can really settle yourself down so you can fall into a deeper sleep.
Yeah, and I remember when I went through yoga teacher training, the whole purpose of Shavasana is like to give your nervous system love and restoration. I mean, there's obviously spiritual meanings as well, but on the anatomy side of it, it's really to calm the body. So that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And I like that.
Yeah.
So if I were one of your clients, kind of walk me through like almost the onboarding process with you. What kind of client do you work with? What would my lifestyle be like? What am I looking to change?
Yeah.
Where do you integrate into my life?
Yeah.
Tell me it all.
Typically, a woman over 40, like a peri or post-menopausal woman. And these women are in a stage of their life where they're still working. Some of them are retired, but they're still working. They're professional women. They're very busy. They have activities that they do outside of their life. They love their family, right? They're very family-oriented, but they're frustrated because their main concern is that they want to lose belly fat. Unfortunately, most of the women that I talk to, that's where their eyes go in the mirror. How's my belly look? How do I look in these clothes? I don't feel myself. I feel bloated when I eat. And they're just frustrated that they are working hard. They're doing the diets. They're exercising probably more than they need to. And they can't figure it out. They've been to the doctors. They've gotten their labs done. And they've been told, your labs look fine. Not get out of my office, but your labs look great.
Yeah.
Or you're just getting old. You're just going to have to get used to this. Now it's what's life.
And that's a crazy narrative to hear from a doctor.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think of my mom and that's what she's been told.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, people send me their labs, which is helpful, but not always because I run different labs.
Yeah.
But their numbers look great on paper. But so to your question, the way I work with people is to get to know them on a very personal, individual level. Because what happens is if you get your labs drawn and we say, hey, Tori, you're out of range, here's this medication for your thyroid so that you're back in range the next time I see you.
Right.
You're not deficient in that medication.
Right.
That's the problem.
Right.
So when I get to meet you and we get to talk about how's your life, right? Like, are you married? What was your younger years like all of that stuff. Because if I know that your husband died 3 years ago, you're an empty nester now, your kids moved across the country, and you just lost your job, it doesn't matter what those labs say because that's going to make a difference on those labs.
Right.
You know, that affects your whole entire internal biological system. So when you get to learn the person, then I have them run functional labs that your doctor won't run because they're not covered by insurance to get a deeper look at all of these stressors, how your hormones are acting, how your gut looks, what your immune system looks like. And then we have that conversation to detect how your lifestyle and what's going on internally is affecting what's on the paper.
Yeah. Wow.
Does that make sense?
Makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
So something that you said earlier that I loved was you really get to know your clients and you make women feel heard.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah. I don't know why I have a connection with women and like older women. I feel very comfortable around them. And maybe it's because I was a mama's boy growing up.
Maybe.
But like when I talk to these women, I've had so many people like cry to me and like just open up fully, because a word that comes to mind is undesirable. When you start to get a little bit older and you're not dating or whatever, you maybe start to feel undesirable and frustrated. And they just want someone to listen, right? I want to be that person who, even though I'm a 30-year-old male, I see you and I hear you. Do you know?
Yeah.
And that, like, there's no diet plan that can do that. So it's like, I get like almost like emotional thinking about it because I like care about these people on a deeper sense that like you can see it in their eyes when they're talking to you. No one's ever listened to them before, you know? And so if I can just be that person to listen and then also coach them, like be soft enough to hear them, but then be like real enough to say, hey, Susie, like, this is what we got to do, right? We want to change tough love, right? So the first part is connecting on a deep level.
So right before we started recording, we got into a great conversation that I wish more than anything we had on the mics. So I'm just going to have you repeat pretty much what you told me. And it was about fat loss because I brought up the example of my mom again. And I said, like, would you, for example, maybe give my mom like a lifting plan if she was your client? And you said you would probably have her not do any movement at all.
Well, movement.
Okay. Why don't you say it so I don't butcher it?
Sure. So, again, everyone is an individual. So until you were to get to know someone or see their labs, it's really hard to specifically give them a protocol. But what I see majority of the time is that these women have been chronically stressed out for years and years and years, and their body no longer feels safe. It is in fight or flight all the time. And when I talk to people about stress and fight or flight, I feel like right away they go to, is my work high intensity, like those type of stressors. But we forget stress comes in all different shapes and sizes. Having your Wi-Fi router on at night, eating fast food, all of those things are stress on the body, including exercise. Exercise is, breaking down your muscles. It's breaking down your body in a good way, right? It's beneficial. But when your body has been chronically stressed for a long period of time and all you're doing is continuing to tear it down, it doesn't feel safe enough to heal and then burn fat. So it's not in a place where it can say, let's release the fat. It's like, oh my God. Like, it's so like stressed out to figure out how it's going to run its own systems that we're never able to calm down and actually get the goal that we want.
Right.
So it's like we're running on a treadmill that never ends.
So you kind of like need to come home to yourself.
Yes.
How do you advise people do that?
Well, a couple different ways. First, you need to get your emotions out. So whether that's talking to me, if you have a husband, a girlfriend, a group of people, maybe you like to journal, you have to express your emotion. If you bottle it up, it gets stored as trauma essentially in your body. So we need to release it, right? And that's why I like to be an ear. If they want to take 30 minutes and just let me have it, you can.
Yeah.
Right? But you need a support group. So maybe you talk to your friends, you go for walks, and you release that stress first. And then you can start to take on modalities that are going to build your strength and target fat loss and things like that.
This is all so fascinating. What got you interested in this?
So I have been a trainer for 7 to 8 years. And for whatever reason, it's been primarily women, maybe that's my soul attracting these type of people, right? But I've worked with hundreds of women over the years, and then even in our fitness studio, mainly women. So I've had a lot of, one-on-one conversations where people tell me more than they tell most people, right? And I got so frustrated because I'm sitting there having this conversation and I feel like I'm defeating them, right? Like they're paying me to work out, and all my knowledge knows is how do you properly exercise? What are the muscles doing? How do we stay disciplined? And they're doing it, and I can see it in their eyes that they're doing it, but nothing's changing.
Right.
So first I was like, let me look around. Let me see if there's anyone who could help. And I met with some people to try to build like a referral thing, like, hey, I'll send my clients to you type of deal.
Right.
And I never felt someone who I was like, in my heart, knew that this was the person. And I was like, hey, why don't you be the person?
Right.
So my one friend, Sarah, she is an FDN. And I don't even know how we met, but we've connected on my podcast and just on Zoom. And she was like, hey, you should check FDN out. I think it might be something you're looking into. And I found out about it and like what they stand for and how they approach health. And I was like, oh my God, this is it.
Yeah.
And so I was like, let's go. I'm going to do it myself.
I love that.
Yeah.
You are a very healthy person. Like, I remember when you and Gianna first started dating, Gianna then like transformed into like, she was always very healthy before, but then when she met you together, you guys were just like this ultimate fit couple. It was so fun to like watch her blossom into who she is now. So what are some things that you have done in your life that you think have really changed your life for the better in terms of health, wellness? If you have anything,
my
it could
gosh.
be small, like breath work, it could be big, like getting your FDN certification.
Man. Like how I physically feel, or like,
Sure.
which avenue do you want me to go down?
Anyone that you feel called to.
So for whatever reason, something that popped up right in my head was years ago, I actually did an emotional intelligence like workshop.
Whoa.
That was a weekend long. And there was 3 tiers of it. So you did a weekend, which was 3 days. And then a few months later, you did another 3 days. And then I did a third version of it. So you kept leveling up.
Oh, cool.
That was one of the most empowering things I've ever done.
Really?
And yeah, I mean, I've ran a marathon. I've done all the fitness. I've been on stage, bodybuilding, the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
But when you get in tune with your inner self and you can like explore like who you really are, that is so empowering. It's incredible.
How old were you when you did that?
It's a great question. I'm 30 now. Maybe like 19 or 20. I was younger.
You were young.
Yeah, I had a friend of mine who was very like enthusiastic about it. He was like, Sean, you got to do it.
Yeah.
And I was like, he used the phrase, throw your hat over the fence and then you just have to go get it. So I basically paid for the program.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm going to go.
Here
I don't know what to expect.
Yeah.
But it was incredible.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
What about that like changed the way you thought of things? Like emotional intelligence is something that is not talked about a ton, but so apparent in those that have it and don't.
So I exposed my deepest, darkest thoughts and secrets and insecurities to complete strangers.
Whoa.
Yeah. So like they give you prompts and like workshops and things to do, but you're in a room full of complete strangers. And when you're working through this stuff, the things that you're thinking about uncover, past traumas or like maybe limiting beliefs. But then you have to do like actual group things, and I'll share it. My thing that I had to do was called Chippendales. I had to put on a thong bikini and do a dance with 7 other men in front of an auditorium full of people. And if that doesn't humble you, I don't know what will.
You do it in front of people?
Oh my God, yeah. I blacked out. I don't remember what happened, but I did it. And like even the younger version of me would be nervous to like do something like this, but this doesn't bother me whatsoever anymore.
Yeah. Wow. So
Yeah.
that really stuck with you.
It did.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. I love that.
So maybe that wasn't like directly what you thought. Maybe you were going to think
Not at all.
I do push-ups in the morning.
Yeah. Do you drink?
No.
Ever?
Yes. Sometimes. Like I had a glass of wine last week for the first time in over 100 days.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just because?
So it started off me being Mr. Like, I'll do these challenges, like
Yeah.
75 hard. I did it 3 times. And
Yeah,
you can't drink.
love 75 hard.
Yeah, I'm going to take a break. But anyway, so like I got used to pushing myself. And then what really happened was I realized how good I felt and that I didn't need it to be in social settings or to be funny or anything like that. And I was like, wow, why would I
Right.
do that if I'm going to feel better and like enjoy my life more if I don't? So I'm not knocking alcohol. It doesn't really serve a purpose for me.
Totally. And I think a lot of people are kind of on that wave and realization of it now.
Yeah.
So what do you think the thing is that's holding women back from like taking the leap and going all in on themselves?
So, well, there's a couple things. One, the first thing, like we've touched on before, is I don't truly believe that they trust and love themselves enough to do what's necessary to be consistent. So you've heard the phrase, like, we know what to do, we just won't do it. Like, information's out there. And if, like, I use this analogy all the time, but if you don't fully believe something, you're not going to do it. So if I told you right now, go do 10 squats right there, body weight squats, you'd be like, what are you talking about?
Right.
So easy. But if I told you go do 15 pull-ups in a row, maybe that's not so easy. Your subconscious is like, I can't do that.
Right.
So what holds people back is they have these big audacious goals of, I want to lose 40 pounds.
Right.
I want to lose 100 pounds, whatever it is. But they don't ever give themselves the grace and the credit to build up their head of steam and to build up momentum with smaller habits like waking up in the morning and getting some mineral water and going for a walk and talking to someone. Because after you drink that glass of water, your 50 pounds is still there.
Right.
And you're like, what is going on? How is this ever going to help me? I'm never going to get there. And they try every little thing that they see on TikTok. And then they'll buy supplements because some person said, oh, this is cool. And I can't tell you how many of my clients, they have a cabinet full of supplements. They don't even know what they're for. They're just like, oh, I saw it on Instagram.
Yeah.
So I'll buy that.
That's so interesting. I feel like when it comes to small little habits, it is hard to build them up over time without seeing the immediate results. Especially now in the world that we live in, it's all instant gratification. Like if I want a new water bottle, I can probably get it shipped to my house
By
tonight.
the time this
1,000%.
we're done.
So the fact that weight loss or changing your lifestyle or just becoming a better version of yourself takes time, it is hard in this world that we live in. Well,
so you said it right there, becoming a better version of yourself, right? It comes down to who do you want to become and who do you see yourself as the higher version. And you got to get very clear on that. And not only how they live, but how they feel. We're so attached to these physical goals. If I lose the 15 pounds, then I'll be happy.
Right.
How does that person at 15 pounds lighter feel when they wake up in the morning? How do they show up at work? How do they talk? How do they walk? What do they dress like? And then you got to get really clear on that and then figure out what her habits are and start embodying those. Because then instead of doing a couple things that are going to eventually help you lose 50 pounds, you're going to become the woman who is 50 pounds lighter.
Right.
Does that make sense?
1,000%.
Yeah.
And do you kind of coach that mindset when you have clients?
It's the first thing that I do.
Really?
Yeah. You need to know what it is that you want. And be very clear. And I'm not so strict on like, we need to do it by next week, because what'll happen is we build in weekly goals that are small.
Right.
But we know that that version of ourselves is waiting for us. And if we just follow the steps, then we'll get there.
Do you ever have anyone that's resistant to that thinking?
All the time.
Really?
All the
time.
time.
How do you kind of break down that wall?
So it's a phrase that I will sometimes say to people is, hear me out. If you trust me and you do what I'm asking you to and it doesn't work, then you can go back to what wasn't working before.
Oh my God, that's so good.
Because what you've been doing
so good.
for 20 years has led you talking to me right now.
Sean, that's so
So
good.
if we can't release that thought and say, maybe he might be right. And I'll tell you what the trick is. And I did a whole podcast on this. People need a couple things to make change in their life, right? So you meet with me. I tell you a couple things that sound good, but like you won't do them.
Yeah.
So one thing is that it could be a crisis. Like your doctor said, you're type 2 diabetic, it's serious, and like you need change bad. So you're a 10 out of 10. Another thing is you pay for it. I believe that you pay for, you pay attention to what you pay for. And the more you pay for something, the more you pay attention for it.
Right.
Right? Like if I told you 5 things right now, Tori, that you're going to live your best, healthiest life, and I was like, here, I'll write them on the paper. You're going to it's going to be a coaster. But if I was like, I've got the keys to your life in my pocket, it's $10,000. And I give them to you. You're going to study them. You're going to put them up on your wall.
Right.
You're going to be like, hey, Zach, this is what we're doing.
Right.
You're going to enlist in friends, and things will start to change. But nothing changed about the info. So the stuff out there that you can do to help you feel your best and lose the weight, it's all out there, but it's been free. So you need a serious why. You need to pay for it. And you need a support system. So that accountability can come from someone like myself. It can come from someone you're close to, or even better, a group of people. Like imagine you, like, like masterminds and things, how much progress you get out of that. If you and 15 girls your age, all on the same mission, are talking in a group chat, you guys are meeting once a week, you all have an aligned goal, you're going to crush that goal.
God, absolutely.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Right? So that's why I'm trying to put together a online community, but in person as well, of people who are like-minded, who all want the same thing.
Right.
So you pay for it. You've got to figure out your big why, which is that higher version of yourself. And then you be a part of a community.
This is amazing.
Yeah.
So how can someone sign up to be a client of yours?
So I like to talk to people first, right? What I did was I built out my website so that they can just reach out to me and schedule, I call them discovery calls.
Okay.
Let's just hop on the Zoom call for 30 minutes and I'll figure out if it's going to be a good fit. And what I did before that was I actually created a masterclass online.
Oh, cool.
It's me describing what I do and how I can help you in like a 30-minute video.
Yeah.
So that you can watch that and then apply to work with me.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean...
Will you send me the link? I'll link it below.
Of course,
okay,
yeah.
Cool.
Because in the past, it was always like, try this free thing and I'll talk to someone for free.
Right.
But first, you have to watch my video.
Right.
And you've got to apply to work with me. Because if you're not willing to do that, you're not going to be willing to do the things that I'm asking you to do anyway.
Right.
So you need, you don't need, I would like to only work with committed people.
Right.
So if you're just like, ooh, can you write me a program? Or like, I've written people full-blown meal plans, workout plans, and guess what happened? Nothing.
Yeah.
Right? So now it's like, you've got to have a process to understand that this person I'm talking to is like, I'm in.
I guess that goes back to the strong why, right? And just committing yourself to it.
Well, yeah, because if you are playing the victim and you're scrolling on your couch and you're seeing all these people getting after it on Instagram and you're like, I want that. And then an ad pops up and it's miraculous how this ad just showed up on your feed. Start this workout plan or try this. And you're like, oh, it costs money? Swipe. No way. Like, it's like
right.
The helicopter is coming to try to save you.
Yes.
But if you're playing the victim to it, you're never going to take the step. So yeah, you need to be having that strong why.
Sean, you've been amazing today.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, I could talk about this all day.
No, I love that. Pip yourself out. You have a podcast. You have socials. Where can everyone listen to you, find you, work with you? Give me all the places.
Yes. So my socials are Sean Calhoun _ on TikTok, and Instagram is kind of where I hang out mostly. And you know how Instagram works. It goes right to Facebook.
Yep.
So all the posts go there as well. And then my podcast is The Potential Project. And that's pretty much where I hang out. Instagram, TikTok, and the podcast.
Guys, I'll link everything down below so you guys can go find Sean.
Sweet.
Thank you so much for coming on. You're always welcome to come back.
Of course. No, thank you.
Of course. And guys, we'll talk to you in the next episode.